When we started, I promised that you'd hear from the education department, so you heard from John King, the number 2. We couldn't get Arnie Duncan, but I thought John was terrific. Agree? He's so smart, and he so understands our issue. We couldn't have a better advocate. I promised you cutting-edge research. What do you think about Jonathan Plucker, the data guy? Data guy with attitude, let me say. I promised that there'd be an opportunity to share best practices. Berkeley and Wes we've already thanked, but I think you all had a shot at talking to one another. I hope you took advantage of it. I hope you've built friendships and relationships where you can ask, well, how do I do this? And how did you manage that? And what did you do to get that across state lines? So I put it to you, keep the friendships you've made, and next week, send an email. It's worth it, because there'll be a time, a week, a month from now, when you'll be desperate. And now finally you have somebody to turn to. You can say, okay, that guy did it. How do I do it in my state? How do I do it in my school? And finally, I promised that you'd be introduced to some other foundations. LIDA, Gates Millennium, Asian American, Horatio Alger, weren't they great? Weren't they great? So I put it to you, you are now armed and dangerous. We've tried to break this out into chunks that make sense. The pipeline, the assessment, and the support for students. We know we need all three. We know we need to figure out the answers and how we navigate our way to real solutions to each of those problems. The one thing we really do understand today that we didn't understand even 2 years ago is how fragile these kids are. The low-income kids, notwithstanding that they're high performers and talented, are fragile. And that is powerful when we go to press our case, whether it be in the district, the state, or the federal level. These are the kids of the future. And if we do not hold them up and support them, they will fail and we will fail. So I said also that there'd be a test. Here's how you'll be graded. 1, are you sending your students to apply to be Cooke Scholars? How many do we get from each of you? Right? Are you going to do this? Yes. Good. Are you submitting grant applications to this person over here and her committee so that you can get part of that money that we're putting up? Yes. Good. I mean, there's like, I'm holding you to this. And third, will you pursue an agenda that is advocacy? Will you do that? Okay. Those are the 3 things that will make this meeting have been worthwhile. I started out by talking about that this meeting was 380 years in the making since Boston Latin was started as the first public exam school. I'm not going to say it was worth the wait. It was not. But the energy in the room is palpable. And this is a beginning, not an end. The coalition class is potentially a very, very powerful group. And you have the ability to make it a powerful group because schools are organic in the community. You know this. You know that your parents are behind you. You know that the kids are powerful and beautiful. So between the foundation and the coalition, let's make this the start of a beautiful friendship. Okay? And with that, we go on. Thank you all.